In our series here that we're speaking about Jewish money secrets, which is essentially the idea of how we understand money, how we understand what money represents in this world, how we understand the idea of making a livelihood. And we're so happy to have our friends with us around the world, B'siyata D'Shmaya. And let's go inside the Torah. Somebody who is an ish chayil, somebody who is a warrior person, somebody who has the power of being an ish chayil. So such a person who has an energy, and like our friend Rabbi Yosel was saying, that an ish chayil, the ikr ish chayil, the person who's called the one who has the power of being the opposite of a shlamazel, is Yosef HaTzadik. It's like Yosef HaTzadik was thrown into the bore. Yosef HaTzadik is put into the dungeons of Egypt with all these necromancers and black magic and the low people, sadly, of the world. And Yosef HaTzadik very easily could have said, you know what? This is my lot. And I'll just become a lowlife like everybody else. But Yosef HaTzadik was the Ish Chayil. He was a warrior person. And this power of being a warrior person gives a certain koyach. A certain power. So Rav Nachman is setting it up. There's an Ish Chayil. There's a person who's a warrior person. And the opposite of that is the Shlamazel. So somebody who's an Ish Chayil, Yochel Lekabel Be'esa Achila, he's able to receive at the time of eating the idea of Haras HaRatzon, which means to connect to the light of God's will. Just so our friends know, because sometimes Chevra ask what we're learning from. We're learning from Lekutei Maran, from our dear friends at Letal B'Teirosai and Kol Torah Chaim, Rab Nachman Fried, Rab Moti, learning the Torah of the Rebbe. This is the Ner of Chanukah. Rab Nachman is the light. Yes?
I know a lot of people are planning on going to Uman for this Shabbos. What is the importance of Uman Shabbos Chanukah?
The importance of Uman Shabbos Chanukah is that Rab Nachman said that this is the time that the Olam should come. Also Rosh Hashanah, also for Shavuos. Itchmeyer is going. You're going on the chartered flight with the Chevra?
No, but one of my friends is going. He asked me if I wanted to go, but I'm here.
It's a nice idea.
This is where the nace happened.
It's true. This is where the miracle happened. That being said, there's such a thing of understanding that Chanukah is the end of Rosh Hashanah, like the Arizal said, at the end of Rosh Hashanah, at the final piece in the entire story of Rosh Hashanah, is really this which is happening on Chanukah. This is the final chasima. This is the final organizing of the seed that we're going to have for the whole year.
So can I wish people like a Gemar Chasima Tova?
People do, Chassidim do. You have to know your crowd. If you tell a bunch of Chevra, Litvish Chevra, they might not. Even though it's becoming more and more popular, this idea from the Arizal, and therefore more and more people are realizing that the end of Rosh Hashanah, which means the end of the whole journey of building the genetic code for the year, is really sealing itself on Chanukah. So more people are getting tuned into this. And therefore there is a very big power to understanding that. Also, we are dedicating all the learning, L'ilui Nishmas, for all those that were killed, Al Kiddush Hashem in Australia, that their neshamas are already going up to a very high place, and mechitza that no other neshamas can go to. And we're dedicating the learning for the Ilui Nishmas and for the refuah shlema of those that are still injured. Should be immediate refuah shlema, b'siyata d'shmaya. And Rav Nachman said to come because when you're holding in the place of Rosh Hashanah, so you want to make sure that you have a good defense attorney. And Nachman said that I could help tap you into the light. I can help you feel the light. Of course, we're only praying to God. God is the only source. But through having a good leader, through having a good tzaddik, who's bechin of kol, who's doremala and doremata at the same time, who's ochid shemai va'ara, who's both up there and down here at the same time, through that we're able to have tremendous growth and tremendous awareness of the way my soul looks up in Shemayim, the way my soul looks down here, and I can connect myself to the higher part of me and the lower part of me, that it should all be one. So going on, Chanukah is a big thing. There's a big or that comes out at that time. But we know that Rav Nachman's neshama is also here, in Yerushalayim. And therefore, if you're here, you're also in a good place. So here the tzaddik says, if a person wants to connect, to begin Yishchayil, and then when he's eating, which is something which is down here, he's able to get the ha'ar of Ratzon, which is Keser, which is all the way up there. And he's connecting the highest place and the lowest place. V'yishtoikek v'yichsoif me'oid elav yisbo'a b'rotzon muflag, b'li shum yediyah shelo yeda klal mahu rotzon. V'zeh b'chines ve'ata noisen lahem es achlam be'itoi. And this is what King David, the one who understood the Jewish money secrets, is David HaMelech. It's King David. King David, of course, is the Messiah, and King David is able to tap us in to this ha'aras haratzon. And King David made sure that we know that God, you give us what we need in its appropriate time. Be'itoi ze b'chines ha'aras haratzon. This is what it means that you connect me to Ratzon. B'chines ka'es ya'omer leYaakov u'leYisrael ma po'al kel. Says the Torah. At that time it will be said of Jacob and to Israel, what has God wrought? W-R-O-U-G-H-T. What does this all mean? So it means like this. The whole pasuk in Bamidbar goes like this. For there's no divination in Yaakov and no sorcery in Yisrael. At that time it will be said of Yaakov and to Yisrael, what has God wrought? These words were spoken by Bilam in praise of the Jewish people. Rashi there explains that Yaakov and Yisrael refer to the tzaddikim, who dwell closer to the divine presence than even the ministering angels. So what does this all mean? A person who's a shlamazel is always looking for another sorcery. He's always looking for a hack. He's always looking for a quick fix, a get-rich-quick scheme, God forbid. Because he feels that if I just do this thing and I pull these strings and I push these buttons, then it's going to make him the money that he wants. And if I do this dishonest thing, God forbid, then it's going to bring the money in different ways. But the way of Jacob, the way of Yisrael, is to stay completely away from sorcery, is to be completely devoted, to be completely given over to God, which is called the Ishchayil. So really the first step in the Jewish money secrets is understanding, is that if you want to have sustenance of han'ata noisen lahem as achlam be'itoy, if you want that God is giving you your bread, you got dough, that God is the one that is giving it, it's knowing that it's ata, it's you, God, that you're the one that's giving it all. And there's no sorcery, there's no divination. Therefore, be very, very cautious and careful, certainly of any idol worship or any black magic. The Yetzer Hara and the Malach HaMovis has a certain thing that they always do, and that is they claim to give you things for free. If something is for free, then you're the customer. Then you're the and you pay with your soul. Because if it's free, it's not really free. It's never free. So this that we're speaking about, this whole section here on Parnasa, this whole section on making a livelihood, and the Rebbe is going to go into this much more, is that the first step is knowing that everything that I need, God comes from you. Everything that I need, everything that I could want, it's only from God. And therefore we ask our chevra from around the world, is the first thing that you should think about in making a living is, am I speaking to God? Am I really appealing to God as you are the source of everything that I need? You're the source. Everything that I need, God comes from you. And we put all of our focus onto God. And a lot of chevra have been reaching out around the world asking for different advice, different eitzah. People who are sharing, a lot of people about wanting to convert, a lot of people speaking about trying to get out of challenges. The first step, and this goes to everybody, is just go to God. Go to God. No idol worship, no divination, no sorcery, no crystal balls. Stay far, far away from all of those things. Go right to God. Everything should be directed right to God. In a few moments, we'll have some time for some questions from our dear friends. But the first step here in being the Ish Chayil, in the rich dad, poor dad, is knowing that the rich dad is the Ish Chayil. It's all about God. I just want to connect myself to you like Yosef Tzaddik. And Yosef Tzaddik is the mashpir, and he's the provider. And he becomes essentially the richest person in the entire world, because all of the world's resources are now going through Yosef. Yosef is the conduit for all blessing. The second thing we see about Yosef, and we know that Elah told us Yaakov Yosef, if there's no divination and there's no sorcery in Yisrael, means that was all passed down to Yosef. Elah told us Yaakov Yosef, that the Iker Tolda, the Iker child of Yaakov is Yosef, and that Yosef, the power of Yosef is the Kedusha, the bris. So there's really two halves to this. The first half is that Yaakov is bringing into the world no divination, no sorcery, only direct connection to God. The second part of that is the world of Yosef. And Yosef is the Kedusha, the bris, is making sure that a person keeps their bris completely holy, which means no illicit relations, the sanctity of marriage. I know that marriage is not so popular nowadays, but it's very, very important that people know that marriage is very, very sacred. That marriage is the ultimate sacredness, and that a person should focus on, how could I get married? How could I get married? Focusing on marriage as a priority in one's life. And here the Rebbe says, Asidin tzadikim sheik mechitzosem lifnim malachei asharis. That the tzaddikim in the time to come will be much greater than the highest angels. Mechitza zeh bechinas makifin. And when it means that they'll be in a mechitza, that they'll be in a place that's beyond, it means that the angels can only get to this place, but the tzaddikim can go beyond that to a new makif, a new place of revelation.
Beyond Matat?
All the way. All the way up there. The tzaddikim can go all the way up there. The tzaddikim will understand secrets greater than the highest angels. So we have something amazing here happening in Dora Mal, Dora Mata. We have something that you're going all the way up, but it's dafka happening to you at the time of eating, which is Dora Mata. So while you're eating, and you're eating in a way of the way that tzaddikim, that world of eating in the way of the tzaddikim will take you all the way up there, to the highest place. So we have a few minutes here, some questions from our dearest chevra, that we're so happy to have you here with us. Claire, so wonderful to have you. So Josh is speaking about religion. So I see, Josh, that you have a challenge with religion. So I think it's important to point out the Torah is not a religion. I think the word religion has such a bad connotation to it. I don't like to use that word. But Hashem gave us a transmission, a communication at Mount Sinai. And that communication is here to help humanity get to the desired destination. There's a destiny for humanity. And if we take God seriously, the reality of the creator, sustainer of heaven and earth, then we are excited with the opportunity of being connected. And therefore there's an opportunity here, my friends, of being connected. So thank you, Josh, for the wonderful thought.